welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrea, for those who are new, welcome. And for those who have been watching, welcome back. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Because spring semester is ending, we're headed into summer vacation for those of us who are in school. I thought I would do a video about things that students don't often think about for summer vacation. So kind of tips for students, undergraduate students, and to a certain extent some grad students as well, tips for during the summer. So I've got 5 tips that are things that I have learned over the years. So just a quick recap for those who haven't watched my What I Study video or haven't watched some of my past academic-y videos. I have a bachelor's degree in theater arts. That took me 5 years. I have 2 master's degrees, one in media arts, one in English rhetoric and composition. Each of those took me a couple years, and I'm currently halfway through my PhD. And I now also teach undergraduate students. So I've been an undergrad, now I teach undergrads. I've got over a decade of experience of being in school and in college. So I'm by no means an expert, but I do feel like I've learned a lot over the years that might help some other students. I thought I'd share some of that. So 5 tips. Tip number 1 that students often don't think about, probably because they don't want to think about it, is summer school. So there's kind of 3 reasons for taking summer classes, in my opinion. One is if you failed a class. I highly recommend that if you failed one of your classes, either in the spring semester or the previous fall, retaking that class in summer school is sometimes a good idea, depending on the class, but it can be really helpful because the material is still somewhat fresh in your brain, so you're not starting from scratch, you're just picking up in the areas where you were a little rough and fine-tuning those, and then hopefully passing the class. Also, it can usually be when you take summer school, I recommend that you only take 1 class, maybe 2, no more than that. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. So sometimes retaking a class that you failed in summer school, yes, it's a condensed setting, it's a lot faster, but if it's the only thing you are focusing on, it can be really helpful. So an example of this was actually when I was still in high school. I didn't fail, but I got D's in both Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 my sophomore year, my freshman and sophomore year. So 2 years of algebra, didn't do well in either one. And my mom, as I was going into my junior year, was like, you are not graduating high school not knowing algebra. So she forced me to enroll in a summer class, an intermediate algebra, which is basically Algebra 1 and 2 combined, and then in a 6-week condensed summer session. And I actually got a B. Part of this was because it was taught at a community college and not at a high school. I just think I had a better teacher. The better teacher did make a difference. And I don't know, the other students were a bit more focused. So sometimes retaking a class, even though you failed it the first time, it might not have been you. It might have been the teacher or the class size or the environment. So sometimes you have better luck in a summer setting. Another reason is to take a summer class. Another reason would be if there's a hard class that you have to take that's required by your major. Sometimes taking that in the summer when it's the only thing you're focused on can make it a little bit more bearable and easier to get through. So I have a number of students, or I've had one this past semester and then a few in the past years, who would tell me that they're planning on taking like organic chemistry over the summer or some other really hard class that they know they're going to struggle with. They take it over the summer, usually at a community college because the class sizes are smaller and the cost is cheaper. And that's just how they think they're going to get through it. And I totally agree. It's definitely a great reason to do summer schools, to take care of that hard class and just get it out of the way and have it in a less stressful environment. On the flip side of that, taking care of an easy course. So if you've got an elective that you need to take and you want to just get it done and out of the way, sometimes that's a way of getting credits taken care of and taking summer school, but not feeling like you're spending your whole summer studying. So for example, I'm teaching Introduction to Theater at one of my local community colleges this summer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully it makes enrollment. But I'm teaching it online, and really all the students are going to do in that class is read through some PowerPoints, watch a bunch of YouTube videos about theater, engage in discussion on the discussion board, take some exams, but the exams are open note, open book because they're online. So it's, the way I've designed it is really low stress, low pressure, but yet they're still gonna get 3 credits out of it. So that can be, and taking online classes in the summer is also a good idea, because then you're right there at home. When you're done, you're done. You're not driving back and forth to campus. So yeah, so those are kind of the 3 reasons to take summer school. If you failed a class, to take care of a really hard class, or to just check off a really easy class. Second tip is study abroad. And I'm mentioning this now because if you're watching this now, it's too late for this summer, but you tend to want to think about it and plan it for about a year. So if you think you want to study abroad next summer, this is the summer to start looking at it. So look at what your school has to offer, see what programs are going on this summer, and you can start researching those. How much they cost, you're probably going to need to save up. So a couple summers ago, I did a study abroad to Oxford, England, and it was amazing, which is why I went back last summer and just spent my own money and was there on my own. And so the program through my university was, I think it was like $4,300, but that included accommodations, and that included all of our group travel. So all we really had to pay for was our flight and food, whatever we spent on a daily basis. And we had a kitchen, so we could go grocery shopping. We didn't have to eat out every night. And that was a 5-week program. Sometimes you can find 2-week programs, but just to give you an example, mine was really cool. We did classes 3 mornings a week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, we had class. There were 2 classes we were doing, so we got 6 credits out of it, which was amazing. On Thursday, we did our group travel, which was related to the classes. So our 2 classes were, one was on Shakespeare and one was on King Arthur. So we went and saw stuff at the Globe. We went to Stratford-upon-Avon and saw something at the Royal Shakespeare Company. We went out to Stonehenge. Lots of really cool trips. So those were always on Thursday. And then we had 3-day weekends. So it didn't feel like we were doing that much schoolwork, even though we were. A lot of us, our plan was kind of class Monday through Wednesday in the morning, homework in the afternoon, do stuff around Oxford the rest of the day, and then really do stuff and explore on the 3-day weekend. So a lot of my classmates went to Belgium, they went to Ireland, they went to Scotland, they went to Paris, they did all kinds of fun stuff. I'd already done some of that, so I was excited to just stay and chill in Oxford. So summer school or study abroad during summer is a really great way of getting some of those credits checked off, especially like elective credits. Mine counted towards my PhD as interdisciplinary credits. So even as grad students, keep your eye out for grad student study abroad options. There aren't as many, but there are some. And so I was able to get 6 credits in the summer without feeling like I'd spent this crazy amount of time in a classroom. And it really wasn't, especially for a grad student, it really wasn't that crazy or that intense. So it worked out really well for me. But it's a great way for you to travel, broaden your horizons if you've never traveled outside of the country. And this goes for international students who want to come to the US, American students who want to travel to Europe or other places. There's a bunch of different types out there. I know my university also offers ones that are like volunteer-based, so you go to other countries and like do volunteer work. So you can really find a wide range. So study abroad is a great option. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything, but it is something you need to plan ahead for. I did get to use some of my student loans, but also had to save up a bit of money as well. And also why you need to plan ahead is airline tickets. There's a number of websites that can help you get discounts, but you still need to save up because international travel can be a bit expensive. If you want to know more details about study abroad, comment below. I can maybe do a whole video just on that. Number 3, connect with previous teachers and build on those connections. So one thing I always tell my students at the end of the semester is, once I've posted your final grades, if you're not going to take another class with me, and I'm not going to be your teacher again, find me on social media. Send me a friend request on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Find some way of staying in contact and in communication. This is really important, I feel, for my students, because I teach English and I never have more than 25 students. I'm one of the few teachers my students have that I actually know their names. And I hear this repeatedly from my students, that I'm like the only teacher that knows their name, which puts your English teacher or other teachers like me in a unique position to be able to write letters of recommendation and letters of reference for you, either for scholarships, for graduate programs, for any jobs, anything that you might need a letter of reference for. If you drop off my radar and you don't stay in communication, I can't help you. I'm not going to remember you. I'm not going to remember the work that you did in my class. And you lose that valuable connection. So finding ways of staying in touch, either emailing throughout this summer, like, I'm not talking excessively, just like once or twice. Maybe as the new semester is starting, sending an email saying, hey, hope your summer was fun. Social media is great because it allows me to sometimes follow them back, and I can kind of see what they're doing. We can kind of have a nice professional relationship in that way, where we're connected through them being in my classroom, but now I'm getting to know them as a person even more, which again lets me write even better letters of recommendation. So moral of the story is, if you have a teacher that you had a really great relationship with in class, don't lose that connection. Find some way of keeping that connection going, because you could end up needing them at some point in the future. Tip number 4, plan ahead and check your plan. So double check your course plan. Are you on track to graduate when you want to graduate? Do you need to take a summer school class to get caught up? So that goes back to kind of tip number 1. Do you need to change your major? Are you not really enjoying things? The summer is a good time to kind of reflect on the previous year. Are you still where you want to be? Are you still going in the direction that you want to be going in? Or do you need to make some tweaks? Maybe you took a class the previous year that you really fell in love with. Maybe you need to start researching how to minor in that subject, or do a double major, or switch your major entirely. Maybe you realize that you really don't want to be whatever your original major was, and you want to switch to something because you had a class the previous year that was just so amazing. It's completely changed you and changed what you want to do. The summer is a good time to reevaluate that, and start making those changes if there are changes that need to be made. And that can be anything from changing your major to changing your university, big or small. It's all kinds of different things that you might need to tweak. So that's tip number 4. And then tip number 5, take a break. It is summer vacation. So yes, I've just given you 4 things that can kind of fill up some of your time. And they are definitely important. I'd love to be able to take the whole summer off, but I need to work. As teachers, we don't make enough money during the school year to support us throughout the whole summer. It was really tough last summer, and I'd saved up a lot to do the traveling that I did, but I was still paying 2 rents in 2 different countries, and that really depleted me. So this summer I don't have that banked up, so I need to work. And so sometimes for students it's the same thing. You need to work, or you need to take a summer class, but you still need to find time to relax. So take a day trip. I'm going to try to go like up to Sedona or down to Mount Lemmon in Tucson, some quick like day trip, road trip type things. Do a staycation, get a group of your friends together and get a hotel room at one of your local hotels, especially if you're in a city like Phoenix. We've got tons of resorts. We usually have great deals over the summer because it's so hot. We aren't getting that many tourists. So it's a great way to like get 3 or 4 of your best girlfriends together or guy friends, split the cost of a room, and spend a weekend at a pool at a great resort. Or, you know, if you're like me and you live in an apartment complex, invite your friends over and do pool parties at your apartment complex or your parents' house or whatever. Find some way of having some fun and relaxing during the summer, because you don't want to work the whole time. But here in the US, we get 3 months. So even if you take a 6-week summer class, that still gives you 6 weeks to just chill and relax and do nothing. So hopefully, so that's the tips. Hopefully those help. Let me know what you think of this video, if you have any other tips for students during the summer that I maybe didn't cover, or if you plan on taking summer school, feel free to let me know what you're taking, or any other questions you have about college and being a student, and maybe that'll become a future video. So yeah, so those are my 5 tips, and I'm gonna go get some water because I think I'm losing my voice. Okay, so I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to subscribe. I love getting new subscribers. Leave me a comment below, all the same usual stuff that we all always say at the end of our videos. And thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.